This is just a quick video addressing the people who think that child trafficking isn't an issue in East Tennessee and that Summer Wells just couldn't have been sold. She couldn't have been trafficked, because some of you guys do believe that. So I'm going to read you a couple of articles from the Channel 8 WVLT. So the first one is from 2020. Families selling children for sex, most common form of human trafficking in East Tennessee, experts say. Human trafficking experts in East Tennessee report an influx of misinformation as the hashtag #SaveOurChildren trended on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. East Tennessee human trafficking experts reported an increase in misinformation as the hashtag #SaveOurChildren began to trend on social media sites like Facebook and Twitter. Natalie Ivey, Executive Director of the Community Coalition Against Human Trafficking, told VLT news anchor Amanda Hara that while she was encouraged that the hashtag sparked a national conversation about the issue, she was concerned people may not be getting a clear picture of what human trafficking really looks like. Some of the messages I saw today are very concerning, are really focusing on stranger danger, big white vans, sometimes political conspiracies, and this elaborate and dramatic form of crime and victimisation. In reality, what we see here in East Tennessee, particularly when we talk about kids experiencing trafficking, it's a crime that is happening in their own home. The most common form of human trafficking for our kids here in East Tennessee is familial trafficking, which means their family member is their trafficker, Ivy explained. The coalition, which serves all areas of Upper East Tennessee, offers a variety of services to help communities identify and respond to human trafficking. Experts identify the most vulnerable human trafficking victims are children in foster care or group homes, children or adults with a history of physical or sexual abuse, runaways, people with special needs, and anyone with a weakness or vulnerability that can be exposed or exploited. Officials said that they have worked with human trafficking victims as young as 3 years old, sold for sex by family members trying to feed a drug addiction. Ivy said, in many cases, that's what is fueling the victimisation. There's really a close correlation in the opioid epidemic. But when we talk about that familial trafficking, you're talking about a cover for basic costs in the home. So it might be for drugs. I see it as a basic need. And it might be for food, it might be for clothing, it might be housing, it might be a job opportunity, it might be access to medical care or access to dental care for individuals in the home. It is oftentimes not necessarily a money-making industry, it's more a survival tactic. So far in 2020, CCAHT reported receiving 80 referrals for kids experiencing human trafficking in East Tennessee. Ivy said that the number is rising, but not because the rates of victimisation is increasing. Rather, she said, it's because CCAHT has made great strides in training community partners on how to identify and respond to cases of human trafficking. We are recognising that these kids who are already on our radar, they're maybe already in the DCS system, they were already a cause of concern for educators or for medical providers. But those professionals are just recognising the crime for what it is now, Ivy said. In some cases, familial trafficking is multi-generational. They tell us, unfortunately, it is not a new concept. It's not a new crime. This is not a new wave of criminal activity. This is truly something that has been in our community for a very long time, and it kind of just hides in plain sight right under our nose. What can you watch for? Experts advise to look for big changes in personality and behaviour, sudden expensive belongings that aren't easily explained, sudden drug or alcohol use. We want folks to consider your neighbours, your students, your co-workers, the folks who live in our lives, who are around us every single day. And consider the fact that trafficking is not only going to be an obvious dramatic sort of crime, it's going to be really easy to recognise. It's really difficult victimisation to recognise, so pay attention to those around you and be having conversations, but make sure that you're informed with the right information. last year, officials released a report saying that human trafficking was the second fastest growing crime in Tennessee. Data shows that Tennessee authorities and organisations are working to defeat the problem. Months after that report was released in 2019, Tennessee received the highest grade in the country when it comes to fighting human trafficking for 3 years in a row. Well, that's great, because just days before Summer Wells went missing on the 15th of June, only a handful of days, a week before that, on June the 9th, 7 men were arrested in connection to human trafficking operation. These disgusting individuals here. These utterly vile individuals here. Officials with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said 7 men were arrested and accused of seeking illicit sex from minors following a 2-day undercover operation. According to TBI, authorities began the 2-day undercover investigation on June the 9th in an attempt to address human trafficking in East Tennessee. Authorities placed several decoy adverts on websites that were known to be linked to prostitution and commercial sex cases. The operation aimed to identify individuals that were seeking to engage in commercial sex acts with minors. As a result of the investigation, 7 men were arrested and booked into jail. Mark Daniel Higgins from Asheville, North Carolina. Jeffrey Lynn Roney, Arden, North Carolina. Stephen Charles Mays, Morristown, Tennessee, I assume. Benjamin Moreno, Asheville, North Carolina. Jose Raul Delgado Andrade, sorry if I've butchered that name, Johnson City, Tennessee. Alberto Vasquez Gonzalez, Bristol, Virginia. Randall Dale Staten, Bakersville, North Carolina. These guys. And these guys are just the ones who were stupid enough to get caught. The actual reality of trafficking, regardless of where you are in the world, this is not just a problem in East Tennessee. This is a problem everywhere. The bogeyman, the white van, the man with the dodgy raincoat in the woods, that's not the reality of trafficking or prostitution or sexual abuse. Yes, that happens. That's terrible. But the people that you need to be looking at most closely are the people closest to home. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Abby Michelle, hope you're doing well. See you in the next video.